We're back with Dragon Ball Z Kai, episode 12. Zach, last episode we had Vegeta versus the second
Toma.
And
it was going all right for him. He didn't go Super Saiyan yet.
Holding back.
He was holding back.
Like they always do.
Yeah, kind of building the suspense.
You and I were talking about, aside from, obviously, the story reasons of generating tension, felt like Vegeta was wasn't prevailing as forcefully as Goku was.
No, he wasn't. And also, typically, Vegeta's the one that, if he's not goading someone, he leads strong.
Yeah, so,
he doesn't normally just tease around. Because normally that's Goku saying, well, let's actually get started.
Yeah.
Whereas Vegeta's out there to kind of flex his muscles.
Yeah, he's out there to forcefully dominate.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe just training with Goku for years. Well, actually, no, he hasn't trained with him for years yet.
Well, he has been in a way, but...
A little bit, yeah, but not like in my Super's time. Like,
yeah, they've
I'm used to them non-stop training. Mm. I mean, like, one thing I speculated was this guy is much stronger than the guy Goku fought. Like, in order, they're going to get stronger and stronger. Because, this, the worlds, like they are different, and I assume that means something. I
had the same thought that it's a different challenge than the one Goku faced initially. But I still feel as though Vegeta would have gone, unless he just hasn't been able to figure out how to make that transition being a kid again. Like Goku went Super Saiyan right away, but we didn't see him not right away in the story, but he didn't have to train to do it. We didn't see him develop himself to do it. So we have to assume Vegeta can do the same thing. Yeah,
there were a couple instances where like it showed Goku saying, all right, now I know the distance that my kick has to go.
Yeah. Like he's just figuring it out.
And it's also like, think about if it just was the exact same thing as Goku's. Like, I wouldn't mind, but some people might think it's just the same thing.
Well, he'll probably, in this episode, come blasting out of the
I think he'll beat him. I don't think, obviously we know Vegeta lives.
Yeah.
But he got swallowed by the Kraken, and we do have a new character. I literally almost said Mountain Dew again, but Majin Dew.
Yeah, fat dude.
Yeah,
I'm not in love with these Majin characters.
Because I wasn't in love with the original either.
Yeah.
Like when they brought back Cell for the Piccolo movie, I was like, dude, that's cool.
Well, even Fat Boo, the fact that he endured.
Yeah.
We have him, and now he's just adorable idiot.
Yeah, I like him now.
I like him now.
Yeah.
I mean, initially.
But to me, it was nothing compared to Cell and Frieza and Vegeta.
Well, no, because they were always these super villains.
Yeah.
Whereas Majin Buu was this obscene thing that came out of nowhere and was just, I'm Buu gonna eat you. And it's like, what the fuck?
Like, it's more disturbing.
Yeah.
And like this, you almost can't put a face to his evil.
Well, if Cell was just always Cell Form 1, then
by the way,
he wouldn't have been as cool.
No, he wouldn't. But he's definitely different enough. Like, so we are watching Dragon Ball Z Kai with my children, or I am, and we just got to the part where Cell pulls up, breaks Piccolo's neck, blasts his side out, and now he wants to absorb 17, and of course 16, 18 won't run away.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go! 16 is telling her, she's just like, you know what I mean? It almost sounds a little annoying.
Yeah.
But anyways, my buddy did tell me, he's lived in Japan since he's like 12. He said they have gang wars, okay? And I'm sure I've said it so many times, someone's going to correct me. But like they'll send out their strongest fighter to fight your strongest fighter. So it's almost like culturally relative to like, that's why they don't gang up on each other.
I guess that makes sense.
Like if there's like 10 people pick on someone in the classroom, like one of those 10 people will actually go, all right, now let's fight. Mm-hmm. The other people just stand there. And we kind of do the same thing here. But he made
a lot of times what happens here, if it's not a person being jumped, if it's an actual gang on gang, it's the whole fucking gang. It's like it's like an army. It's like this wall of death out of a mosh pit.
So that's what him and I were talking about. He said it's pertinent to how they live their life. So
that's how you look back in Japanese cinema and things like that. I remember
Last Samurai.
No, the game.
Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah.
So when in the beginning, in the prologue, when that guy that's one of their best fighters rides out to meet the Mongols.
Yeah.
And wants to challenge their best fighter. Mm-hmm. The Mongols will just set him on fire.
Yeah.
We're not going to fucking do that shit. And they just set him on fire, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you see the similarities. So it makes sense.
No, yeah. So it just, in Cell...
It's just this hyper masculinity.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Culture. I think it's cool too. Yeah. I'm just saying though that we don't see it typically these days.
Not as much. Even back in my day, like I definitely fought a lot of people, but I was jumped a lot. Or they attempted to jump me. I feel like I'm sprinting out of there, man. Stern wheel and like Park South. Every time I go over there, they're after me and Tom, and yeah.
It's funny you go into the enemy zone.
Yeah, you know.
You know what I mean? I just didn't get out much, I guess.
Yeah. Well, he anyway. So Cell is just so damn creepy.
Well, I'm just saying though that if it was always Cell Form 1, if it was always Frieza Form 1, they would have been cool.
They would have been as cool.
Vegeta was cool as Vegeta.
Yeah.
And he turned into the Great Ape Vegeta, but other than that, like he's always been Vegeta.
Yeah.
But Frieza, if he's just Form 1, he's just this shitty little guy in a pod, and he doesn't look as cool as he does. Definitely he changes.
Stage 1, he looks the least cool.
Stage 1 Cell looks different, and he looks cool. He doesn't look as cool. Doesn't do as.
I think he looks cooler and cooler. But 3, I think you can just debate more.
I'm not a big fan of 2.
He's less
just
unique.
he sounds like an idiot.
I think he's very intimidating.
I think he sounds like an idiot myself.
But the 1, I feel like
1 was the creepiest because he had this kind of alien.
He's like this
sucking people up
bug
with
form. It's creepy as hell.
Yeah, and
that's why I think he was interesting. And then when he's like sucking people up, he's like, it looks like he's orgasming. It's so disturbing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. The first form was very cool in that regard and its individuality. The second form, he just sounded like an idiot. Like literally sounded like an idiot. I couldn't listen. I couldn't stand listening to him. He just his voice. I don't know why it bothered me, but. And his final form, I mean, he sounds like a fucking Ponce, but he's cool. Still cool.
He's got this coolness to him, yeah.
Well, he's got this self-assurance.
Yeah.
I'm perfect now.
Yeah.
Remember
when he's sitting there looking at himself and everyone's like circling around him like
trying to find him? Yeah.
And he just doesn't even notice.
No, he's just so self-absorbed.
Yeah.
But it's just the events that build up that make him cool too, though. Yeah.
I was thinking, I said this like spontaneously without thinking about it earlier to my kids. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about the villains and like Vegeta is essentially this. I mean, we know who Vegeta is, but the way if you think about how they are with the planets, like Vegeta, essentially the Saiyans, they take over the planet, they enslave it. Frieza is capable of destroying a planet, and like and like Cell, I mean, he could do that, but he wants to expand. You know what I mean? He hasn't given it too much thought. But the idea is his goals could be bigger than just destroying one planet.
Well, his goal is to prove he's the perfect being.
Yes.
Ultimately, his only thing is that he's kind of like Goku in that respect.
Yeah.
Goku doesn't want to be the perfect being, but Cell wants to prove that he's the perfect being by taking on the universe's best fighters.
Yeah, which might be the little Saiyan blood in him.
That's what I'm saying. That he wants to be that. He wants to have that for himself. And ultimately, he couldn't pull it off. Gohan was much better than him at the time.
Yeah, and Vegeta helped.
He did. Vegeta!
Yeah.
Vegeta! Pokes in right at the last minute.
Yeah.
The abridged version of that, the girls insisted I watched it. But when
the abridged version,
he dies and he's singing Sinatra.
Yeah.
It's like, I did it my way.
Yeah.
He's burning up. It's like,
that show is for fans by fans. It's not making fun of the show. In some parts are... I know it's sacrilegious.
I want to watch it on here sometime.
Yeah,
watch it myself.
Yeah, well, there's one part I can't remember. I think he's Piccolo. I think he's fighting Cell, and he says something way cooler. But they're asking him about his name Piccolo. What's it mean? It means God. And then he like blasts somebody. Mm-hmm. There's some legitimately cool things. Some things aren't as cool, but it's always funny.
Well, there's really funny shit. There were clips of Vegeta.
Yeah.
I've seen a meme where he's just like, where abridged Vegeta is such a mood.
Yeah.
And it's just the different things he was saying is just funny as hell.
And just like Chaozu, you got Pokemon.
I can't catch it. Yeah, he says, you have to damage it first. Oh, yeah. It's great.
Yeah. Guys, if you like conversations like this, subscribe to our channel, help us out, leave a comment down below. Before we jump in, if you're joining us for the first time, we do put our anime reaction footage on our Patreon, but it's available for everyone. You just got to click the link below in the description. Watch it, come back here and listen to our discussion. But if you want to support us, you can watch the full length. Let's jump in. Guys, that was our reaction. This is our discussion. Now, he said, in that case, you and I always talked about him possibly being super, super strong. He at least has a backup plan. I mean, I don't think they're going to get the Dragon Balls and then that's it for him. Mm-hmm. He's got something up his sleeve.
I guess it remains to be seen.
Yeah. What do you think of the episode?
It was good.
Yeah.
Great to see Vegeta just whipping ass.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Is.
It's actually probably one of my top... I mean, I know there's only 12 episodes.
I know he gets more moments than Piccolo, but there's been a lot of times that Vegeta has talked a lot of shit and got his ass handed to him.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not like Piccolo's the only one. It's just normally Vegeta has he has more moments where he still gets to kill some people or something to that effect.
No, it's
a badass moment.
It adds to it, and honestly, he had more to contend with than Goku. I mean, he was dealing with the sea monster on one side, the Tamagami on the other side, and it was a good fight, and it canonized him being
level 3.
Yeah, in the old canon, he supposedly went from 2 to 4.
Yeah.
He just passed it. He somehow passed it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they left Z especially with Toriyama's involvement with the Z.
Yeah.
I think once GT took off, he was a little less involved.
He was very less involved.
Yeah.
I understand, yeah.
And so they just kind of went with their own canon, and they probably skipped a lot of that development and said, okay, we're just going to give all these, what we think are badass villains.
Well, I know he drew the Super Saiyan 4 one. I know he contributed a lot of ideas. They just, from my understanding, didn't do a manga.
Yeah.
But they did a manga like later on it. But so now I think
they took concepts.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever drew the manga, though.
No, I don't think he did. No, I think he was kind of done with it a little bit. But then obviously that's been wiped clean, and now we have Super, which I like quite a bit.
See, in Z's case, or in Dragon Ball's case, it's good that they wiped away the expanded universe. In Star Wars, it's bad.
It depends. You got Andor, we got Mandalorian, we got some pretty good stuff. I know you don't. I like the sequel trilogy.
I'm talking about the sequel trilogy. I'm talking about cinema. Is what I'm referring to, because Andor and Rogue One, and we had some good shit.
Yeah,
the big events.
You did about that time period.
The major events. Because Star Wars to me is always going to be the cinema. Like that's where it really is supposed to be.
Well, that's one thing Bob Iger said. He said like we're going to pull back some of our Disney shows because Star Wars should be on the cinema. We'll still have Disney shows, but they're going to be far less.
Yeah,
and I think that's good. I mean, I like it. Well, I like the sequel trilogy. I love it. So and that goes to tell you because I'm pretty forgiving for Star Wars. Anyways. But
either way, I'm just saying with this, it's nice that Toriyama came back. It's good that he's paying some respect to a lot of that non-canon shit because he didn't come up. Broly, those movies weren't canon movies.
Oh yeah, I think he drew them. I think they said, "Hey, draw us a really super powered one."
He may have.
I think I heard a story about it.
Concepts.
Yeah.
But the idea though is that he wasn't involved with the story and like the writing of those films. And
he's one of the coolest things ever now.
Well, he absolutely is. I think he's tremendously better than he was in those movies. In those movies, he was just crazy man, gets super buff, beats the shit out of everybody, inexplicably gets defeated, and
everyone's drained and they give Goku their energy, but they all couldn't.
But they're all drained.
They all couldn't beat him when they were combined.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So
him
now that fight was so much cooler. It was so much, it was so much more well written.
Well, I mean,
and the fact that him and Vegeta, they have the comedy between them having to fuse.
Yeah.
Vegeta's like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And they go through, they fuse.
Well, just everything we got back on the Saiyans, that was all, it was, I would say better, but it was all really good.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, really good. But no, I like the moment. It's not my favorite form, but I just think it's cool for the character.
I mean, it's great. There were great moments in that episode. I'm not going to bitch. The Do.
Yeah, I actually didn't think he was going to win. I thought I was subverted. I thought he had to win.
Well, I thought that moment where the Tamagami was like, oh, I see. And then eventually it was going to end poorly. But then he showed up with the chocolate and gave him that boost, that emotional boost. Yeah, I don't,
Magic Ku was a disappointment in the fighting, but he came in clutch there. I wanted him to get credit.
Well,
I don't want Aaron Sue to cast him aside.
I was also thinking in that moment, well, maybe they're not going to mention it because the Tamagami's right there. And they cheated. Yeah. Maybe she just was neglectful of him to the point where he gave the assist and...
Yeah. It's not going to be in the stat sheet.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
No, I agree. I mean, he deserves it, but maybe he won't get it.
When Piccolo's fighting Android 17, and he said, we got to find a different island because someone doesn't care about nature. Because Piccolo destroyed the island. Mm-hmm. Later on, I don't know if you got that point in Super, they recruit him for the tournament.
Yeah,
and he runs a nature reserve.
He's a ranger.
Yeah. Oh my God, he loves nature.
And he's protecting the animals from those space poachers.
Yeah, I just think it's cool that he mentioned it there. And I wonder when they were developing, they said, you know what? There's this one line, maybe like in his human form, and he retains some little memory where he liked animals or something.
Yeah.
I thought
that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Obviously, because Android 18 loves fashion. She's a typical woman. They're not just cold-blooded robots.
Yeah.
The idea that they turned on Giro is that they were still like kind of these rambunctious teenagers.
Yeah.
They were trouble, and they resented him for what he did. And
Chaba too.
And they killed him.
So Vegeta mentions snakes. Just I don't know why. It's obvious. It's a stupid detail. I'm like, oh,
snakes.
I like hearing.
Snakes. I don't know snakes.
He sounded like a snake. I just think it's cool to think of Vegeta thinking about his former planet. Oh, there were snakes there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. For ridiculous. Me, when you get a...
Never in my life never known a snake to eat a cookie.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah.
I was glad I got it right.
Yeah. I was glad he got it right. I'm just wondering if it just he accepted the answer because of the logicalness of it. You know what I mean?
Well, I thought he would have accepted the answer if that was the case, that the Namekian would have told him so. Like, I'm sorry, sir, we're just giving it over to him. He's like, oh, it's all right, I wanted you to.
Yeah.
Something like that. But he just says, if I couldn't defend the Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I was wrong and Vegeta was wrong, but the logic was correct.
So out of all...
I might just be wrong. And Vegeta's just...
Out of all 3 second challenges, which is your favorite?
Out of the 3 battles?
Yeah, the stage.
Like the cups.
Yeah.
The snake thing, and then the math.
Yeah.
Math problem is my least favorite.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, arithmetic is not something I have a lot of patience for.
No. I'm going through with Evangeline now. I'm like relearning it. I like it more as an adult. Like, oh, it's kind of cool. But I certainly didn't have the patience when I was younger.
Well, then it taught me in a way that was like, this is how you balance a checkbook.
Yeah.
A bank account, like something practical.
Yeah.
It's like, here's this shit on a board. You don't have to know it.
Yeah.
But we want you to figure this out.
It's weird because higher math is literally just a different skill than anything in the world. And it's literally not... It is extremely useful to civilization.
Absolutely.
But like 99.9% of people don't need to know higher math.
No. I don't need to fucking...
I don't, certainly.
I need to know conversions in terms of megapascals to fucking, pounds per square inch.
Yeah.
But I don't need to fucking know, these advanced equations in trigonometry.
Yeah. What's the highest math you got to? Algebra 2 for me.
That might have been me.
Yeah.
It was whatever I was required to do. And then once I wasn't required to take a math class anymore, I didn't fucking take it.
Yeah.
But I understand, though, too, it's kind of like learning a language.
Yeah.
Where if
it's a different
you
part of the
practice
brain.
math, it develops your brain.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
Yeah.
I've just never had the patience for it.
No, I mean,
like my algebra teacher even told me one time, she's like, "Oh, you can do this. You just don't want to." Yeah, that's fine because I don't fucking want to, and I don't want to. Yeah. But no desire for it. But either way, least favorite, the cup one. I thought the one with Vegeta was kind of one of the more entertaining ones.
It was entertaining because he was like the lack of patience.
Yeah, and you're seeing that the cards go through, he's telling the story,
and you're seeing like a guy that it's silly that this badass whatever he's made at, like whatever he is. Yeah, telling the story, doing the cards.
Ridiculous little card story, the cartoon characters.
Yeah, I thought when Goku, the cup thing was kind of on brand with that particular Tamagami.
Yeah, he's just kind of wacky.
Yeah. But it made it funny because he's not wacky and then he did something wacky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The arithmetic thing just pissed me off too. That's my least favorite.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my answer. Yeah.
Okay, so it's level 4 Super Saiyan. We'll leave that on the topic to end the evening.
Oh, yeah.
So in your opinion, now when I saw it, when I first learned of GT when we were kids.
Yeah.
And saw that form, like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I just didn't like it because you went from all these badass versions, which I wasn't a big fan of 3, and then 4 came out and it wasn't an improvement in my opinion, because 2 was just fucking cool.
Yeah, my
favorite one's probably 2 because of the lightning. Yeah,
to me, like 1 and 2 don't look too different except for the lightning.
I know, but it's this idea though. You go from Super Saiyan to Ultra Super Saiyan.
Yeah, to 2.
And 2 is like there's a calm.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're in the eye of the storm.
Yeah.
Whereas the Ultra Super Saiyan, like just big, huge buff.
Yeah.
Powerhouse.
Which I really loved when Trunks did that. His design looks so cool. And his hair is tied and it's shot out.
It was really a cool moment, too, because he realized in the fight with Cell that his dad could reach that power.
But he knew it would make him slower.
Yeah. So that realization was cool. It was very cool in the development of the story and those character moments.
Well, and honestly, I thought it was smart because it had a weakness, which I thought was good. And 2 didn't have weaknesses. It just, and then 3 even has a weekness, which it drains you fast.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 3 is my least favorite form out of the ones I've seen. Like, 4 is not canon, obviously.
Yeah.
But I thought 4 looks cooler than 3. Like, there's something cool, I think.
Well, it's cool bringing it back to the monkey.
Yeah, I think
the idea of the cycle.
Yeah.
But I just feel as though, like, I thought the idea when we were growing up, the whole idea, like, you could not become Super Saiyan unless you lost your tail.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mean you couldn't become? Oh, is that a thing?
I thought it was when we were younger. I thought that was kind of the canon, is that you, and I could have been wrong, but the only ones that did become Super Saiyan didn't have a fucking tail.
You're right, but I never put it. I never thought about it though. I don't know if that's canon, just because I did never mention it. I don't think. Unless
I thought they did when we were younger. Maybe it's just observations people made.
Okay.
I mean, the only ones that ever did were the ones that lost their fucking tails. Like even Broly, Super didn't have his tail anymore.
What about little Trunks and little Goten? They
don't have their tails. Gohan didn't have his tail.
I mean, I definitely think I don't know if it makes sense, but I like the idea of them not being able to transform into the Great Ape. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I didn't think about it being a Super Saiyan, but you might be right. Yeah.
Well, growing up, that was my understanding. And admittedly, it might be because that was just the cultural understanding.
Yeah.
I don't remember now any particular instance of Toriyama saying it.
Yeah.
But it could be true. I just don't remember.
Well, the visual language is there for it. But, so yeah, and then 4, they kind of grow their tail back. Yeah. I mean, I think they look cool with the tail in that form, but I don't get logically, like, they hit a threshold and then, like, they kind of, I mean, I'm saying, like, I don't understand why they just get hair and why their tail grows back.
I think it's like
I'm just thinking it looks kind of cool.
I think it's a lot of things. It needs to be made cool. But there's a lot of dumb things I've seen in the world that in entertainment have been turned around on me and made cool.
Like Raiden.
I never really cared for Raiden. I still don't really care for
Raiden. Raiden Metal Gear Solid 4 was fucking cool.
He's okay. But to me, he's always the Raiden that I knew when he was in Metal Gear Solid 2.
You were the lightning in that storm. When he tells him that, and he's fucking fighting those guys with a fucking sword in his mouth.
Sorry.
And fucking Rose comes out.
Nope.
Little Jack. When Campbell wasn't an asshole. It's a great moment.
But yeah, but that's, if you like Raiden, that's fine. I'm not saying he's a shit character.
That's cool as Snake. Snake's cool. Cool as hell.
Yeah, he's made to be like the penultimate.
Yeah, he's a badass. He's cool.
Like American action hero.
Was obviously not cool. I think he became cool.
No, he's made to be, what do you call it, where you can't tell if someone's a man or a woman.
Androgynous.
Yeah, androgynous.
Yeah.
He was made to be that way, to appeal to a broader spectrum of players. They can imagine themselves as him, but then I'm thinking, who wants to imagine themselves as this guy? And
it was a misstep.
There was, but Kojima overcorrected, and the next one will make him so cool. And then honestly, to me, it was like a very Japanese version of so cool, whereas Snake is a very Americanized version of so cool.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. I'm fine with Snake being an Americanized version of cool, and Raiden being a separate Japanese cool.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm saying it didn't appeal to me.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I like Gray Fox more than I like Raiden by leaps and bounds.
That's fair. Yeah.
I think he was so much cooler in the first game. Just his moments when he's fighting Rex.
Yeah.
And everything. It was just so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And just, I mean.
I can't wait. I want to get my son to stream those games. I tried to get him to mess around with the first one, and I couldn't get him to mess around with it. But he'll do it if
what I'm really hoping is that if Delta's successful,
that
will encourage Konami to go back and give 1 and 2 the same treatment.
I would just love if they co-produced him and Kojima with a new whatever.
I'd make a sweet deal for him because Death Stranding 2 is about ready to come out.
Yeah,
and that game's looking pretty fucking sweet.
But that comes out to critical acclaim and sells well. Then they might say, "Let's co-produce this. I mean, we're sorry. These are your babies. Help us get this franchise on track."
And they'll give me rights back, and they're like, "No." And they're like, "Okay, fuck you."
I don't know if it works. They probably have a board with like 20 people that has to vote and shit. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, though. He might be like, hey, I want rights.
Well, the Japanese people, they're really good at making deals with, like, I mean, I've heard, and this is always from America.
All I know is if that was my baby, I want some rights.
Oh, I know. I'm sure, though. No, I mean, I'm not sure. But I've heard from, like, American, like, businessmen, like, Japanese, they always get back together. It might take 10, might take 20 years, but they never break up permanently.
But the idea, though, to me, is that he's doing, unless there's something going on behind the scenes that he's not doing that well.
Yeah.
Like, Death Stranding 2 is looking pretty fucking good.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
I thought he had another game.
They might reach out just because he's doing well.
Yeah. And there's another game I thought he had in the works, too. There was, like, some small teaser trailers for.
I don't know.
But I can't remember the name of it now.
I know there's a teaser trailer for Death Stranding 2, and it turned out to be Death Stranding 2, and no one knew it.
Well, Death Stranding 2 is coming out. and a Death Stranding movie that they're producing with A24 Studios.
That's pretty cool.
And there was something else. There's like one other thing. So it's actually getting like growing beyond the game.
Good.
And I know it's fucking great. It's like everything that was great about Metal Gear Solid that should have been is now in Death Stranding. It's so cool, and I'm so glad that game is coming out. But with regards to Dragon Ball, I'm happy with it so far.
I'm happy with it too, and I thought this was one of the better episodes. I would say top 3 maybe. For some reason, that tavern episode where he fights those guys in the bar, like that might be my favorite. I don't know why. I think it's because it felt like this is so fun and new.
Well, they're doing things right.
And the fighting was good.
Goku is the fun, lovable, goofy, unserious adventure type. And when Vegeta has his moments, we've had to wait for them.
Yeah.
But when they happen, they're powerful. It's like a lightning strike.
You know, my favorite part of this episode was when he fucking kicked at a part of the sea.
Yeah.
That was
knocked him back.
That's a badass moment. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun. Anyways, guys, that's it for this reaction or conversation. See you next week. Much love. Leave a comment down below. Bye-bye.